If you could neither see nor hear, how will you learn and how will you know the difference between day and night, or right and wrong in our own words? This is the story of Helen Keller, who was both blind and deaf, and a remarkable woman who came into her life, determined to bring light. Helen Keller was born in Alabama in 1880. Until she was 19 months old, she was a normal, healthy, and happy child. Then she became stricken with a strange disease that left her deaf and blind, unable to see, unable to hear. She moved from light to darkness and became a person living in a new world. When she was 6 years old, her father took her to see a doctor who was recommended. They see Alexander Graham Bell, who was invented the telephone. Bell had long interested in programs like Helen. He suggested them to contact a school in Boston, the Parkin Institute for the Blind, and arrange a teacher for Helen. On March 3, 1887, Seng went to the Parkin Institute, and Sullivan arrived in Alabama to try to teach Helen Keller. A new teacher was young. She seemed inexperienced. She wore strange glasses. What's wrong with her eyes?
Sullivan herself was partially blind. She grew up with blindness. She was born in poverty, and Sullivan was one of 3 children of immigrants. After her mother died, her father deserted the children. The children grew up in slave house. Her sight was so poor, she was considered disabled. It was felt that she would never be able to read or write. Anna has been taught at the Parkin Institute. She would come to Alabama. She had no experience as a teacher.
Sullivan said about her test, the first attempt to teach Helen her first word, door, by giving her one and spreading out letters into her hand. But Helen misunderstood and believing, and wanted to take the doll back. She became uncontrollable.
Anna had been with Helen only 2 days when the shine in a great knocked out 2 of Anna's teeth. Most of her hand was revolved as Helen's behavior at the table.
One day,
Henton was in the habit of picking food out of her own paste in place of others with her fingers. Anna Sullivan wished not to put up with such behavior, and a fight followed during the family left the room.
I know and succeed in comparing her to eat with a spoon. Young Annie Sullivan did not yet know how to teach her pupil. She was sure that Gateway was obedient, true with love and knowledge, could entire the mind of the child. She knew that if Helen was to become a person, she had to be treated like a person, made to learn to respect herself as a person. Day after day, week after week, and spelled out into Helen's hand everything that they did all day. But, blind and deaf, with no knowledge of words, the child could not comprehend the meaning of this strange typing. A month passed, patient and resolute, and kept at her task. One day, she tried to teach Helen the words mass and water. Helen kept mixing up the two, became impatient and confused. A change was needed, and took her to the water pump. Pumping wildly, She spelled out the word water rapidly in Helen's hand, poured some down Helen's hand and write W-A-T-E-R, water. Suddenly, Helen understood the meaning of the word cadet in the first joy she had felt since her illness. She reached out a girl to Annie's ever-ready hand request for new words.
Captain Helen Keller should know.
April 5, 1887, right as penetrated, darkness portion had vanished to be replaced by the girl who knew that she was Helen Keller. Now there were two beings calling themselves Helen and Teacher. Such moments of delight contain a fuller life than an eternity of darkness. The first words she understood were like the first effects of the one beings that start the melting of the winter snow. After she learned many nouns, then came the adjective, and the melting was more rapid. Only gradually did Helen begin to ask questions of civilized kind. One of Annie's servants' first procedures was to teach Helen how to play. Helen had not laughed. Then she became deaf. She put the child's hand on her bright face, swearing laugh, then gently tickled her into a burst of mirth that granted the heart of the family. She did it again and again. After she guided Helen through the motion of rapping, hopping, skipping, the animation of new discoveries that wrapped Helen like a light.
Which and servant help Helen learned to write and became a writer herself, which always at her side. And soon was far behind her. The story of Helen Keller. The miracle of the girl has been blind and deaf, who had somehow learned to communicate or speak to the world.
Gradually, Helen began to understand that in order to teach her, in order to free her quick, restless, demanding mind, Teacher was forced to reach a loss. She was gradually losing the little sight. Now, Helen Keller began to realize that she could teach, she could bring light to others. She began to work at simplifying the alphabet for the blind.
The gift of Helen Keller and influence to the world is constantly remain us the wonder of the world around us. Because her teacher mothers, Helen grew up with great love of learning, and